Hi, everybody. It's episode 497 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It is Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. I am Chris. With me is Druten
Hello.
and Walnut.
Hi, I'm here.
How's everything going?
Oh, just peachy.
It's not peach season, though.
I know. So that probably explains how everything's going.
Off season?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Seasonal depression, everything's off season. Sounds about right.
Just cheer up. That's all it takes, right?
Just smile more.
Yeah.
Right? That works, right, Drew?
Just
Yep.
be happy.
Definitely how it works.
Yeah. Just smile more. Just be happy. That's how it works.
There's nothing stopping it, right?
Right.
Oh, man, I am excruciatingly tired today.
Yo, I hear you.
Like, I don't even know why. I went to bed early last night. I slept fairly well. Just very tired today.
Yeah.
On the bright side, though, I had sushi for dinner. So there's that.
There you go.
Oh, you guys actually might. I mean, this is kind of just random. There's apparently going to be like a Kickstarter for like a set of D&D minis that are gummies.
What?
Yeah.
They better be like oozes and gelatinous cubes.
No, it's like I saw them like one of them's a giant, not a giant, but like a larger than average gummy sized dragon.
I see. I don't like that. I want it to be like the oozes, where when you do so much damage to them in one round, they break in half, so that this way, when you actually do that damage to them, you can just rip it in half, and then it's two.
That would be cool.
What was it? The Ultra Jelly, or it's something ooze, an ooze thing. It's like if you do 25 points of slashing damage to it in one round, it splits in two, and then you cut its health pool in half. And then if again it takes, or it's probably not 25. 25 is a bit high. It's probably like 10. But then like if that smaller one takes that much slashing damage, that then breaks in half. Those things are fun to use.
But in this case, it's like 40 gummies or something like that. Like it's a very large number of gummies, and it's like figure like actual player things, and then a bunch of different monsters in various sizes and flavors. I unfortunately forget what they were called, or I would look it up and send you guys a link. But they were actually like they looked like they were well done.
It's a Kickstarter.
So it's not a Kickstarter yet, but they're doing a Kickstarter for it, I believe, or they're doing some sort of crowdfunding.
Edible gummy minis for tabletop games. It's Crawl Space and Critters. Last stuff. This is May 17th, 2022. So this is forever old.
Yeah, no, this is actually something current that'll be happening in the near future. I saw it at work today. Somebody showed it to me. So do with that information what you will. Why are these not the same height? What is going on? So I have two different Google Docs open. And the margin for one is drastically different from the other. And it's really bothering me. There's nothing I can do about it right now. Oh well. Well, Rich, what's on the agenda?
Oh boy, the agenda. There was a Nintendo showcase today. And something about Xbox. Oh yeah, there was an Xbox thing last week that didn't really matter.
Well, some of the Nintendo stuff goes with the Xbox stuff.
I mean, kind of, not really. And then I played Lethal Company for the first time. If you guys have not heard of that game, you live under a rock. Then we all should have watched Day Shift for our book club. And then Cobb watched Fool Me Once, which I don't know what that series is, but it's a series.
You wouldn't like it.
Sure.
It's a mystery.
I mean, probably not. It depends. Depends on how it is.
No, you would actually you would hate it. You would be very angry by the end of it. And I will talk about that later.
Okay. Does it spend the entire series building up to who the villain is, and then it's a cliffhanger because they don't announce who the villain is?
Oh, no, it's a limited series, so it's all wrapped up in the 8 episodes. But I don't think you would like it.
Okay, we'll talk.
But yeah, so there was that Nintendo Partner Showcase, which is all third-party stuff today.
Yeah, Nintendo Partner Showcase, which to me, it started out and it went pretty solid. And then the last thing they showed, like the most important thing ever, they like, oh, we got 2 more things. And then they showed a thing, and then there's like, and here's the last thing. And it's like, oh, wow, really? Like, I know people loved this game, apparently, but really? A sequel to it? Wow.
Oh, is this a sequel?
Yeah, the original one was on Wii, I believe.
The Ocean game?
Endless Ocean. There was a Wii title.
Oh, yeah, I just scrolled down to it on this list. I did not know this was a sequel.
Yeah, I believe it was Wii. Yeah, it was developed for the Wii, and literally, as far as I know, I've never played it. I bought it for Shahid because he was all about it. Um, as far as I know, you just swim in the ocean, and
Sounds
that's
about
it.
right. I mean,
Like,
that's what the trailer looked like.
Mhm.
yeah,
So
according to
this
Wiki,
might be the third game.
oh yeah, there was Adventures of the Deep. It was a sequel that was released only in Japan. Oh no, released in Japan in 2009 and February in 2010 under the name Endless Ocean Blue War.
Well, I mean, I'm sure somebody will enjoy playing that on their Switch in standard definition. I, I think the bigger thing out of this was we found out 2 of the 3 Xbox things they announced would be going multi-platform.
Yeah. Yeah. So last week Xbox did that because there was all these rumors about what was it? Xbox about multi-platform games.
People were losing their minds because they're like, Xbox is shutting down
Yeah.
console development, and they're not going to make consoles anymore, and they're just going to publish, and all of their games are going multi-platform. And people were like, they were being big old fucking crybabies about it. And
Yeah.
then they did they did a 30. I don't know if they're usually 30 minutes, but they did like a 30-minute episode of the official Xbox podcast with Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty, 3 of like the top people on the Xbox side of Microsoft. And it sounds like they had stuff they wanted to talk about anyway, and were planning on doing something. But they're just like, we're just going to talk about this up front. Let's just get it out of the fucking way. Yes, we're bringing a couple older games to other platforms.
Mhm.
Like Sony's been doing it. It fucking makes sense.
Yeah.
It just so happens that our main platforms are already PC and Xbox. So the only other places they can go are the PlayStation and the Switch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And at the time, though, the only thing they confirmed was Starfield was not one of them right now, and the
Mhm.
new Indiana Jones would not be one of them, at least at launch.
Yeah.
But they would not. They weren't saying what was going.
Mhm.
And then, like 2 days later, Nintendo announced this partner direct,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, the first game they showed, Grounded, is coming to the Switch and presumably the PlayStation.
I'm probably the PlayStation, but it is definitely coming to Switch. Which like cool, but I don't know if the Switch can handle that game. Did you see how it looked in that
Oh
fucking
yeah,
in
it
that
didn't
direct?
look good.
It looked like no. Here's the thing. I hate because I was thinking about this when I was watching it because it looked so bad. And I always like we always make these comments of how bad it looks on the Switch, but also at the same time, the Switch is the console that everyone can afford, and the Switch is a console that pretty much everyone has. So if it's your only thing and you want to play Grounded, then all right, great, you're gonna get to play Grounded. Unfortunately, there's probably not going to be any sort of way of cross save. You should be. I think they did say cross play, but no cross save. So like,
Which is
you
surprising, because I feel like that's a great game to have, like, cross save and everything, where, like, for you, Rich, like, you play every Thursday still, right?
oh, I
More or
play Sea of
less.
Thieves. We don't. I don't play Grounded.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was definitely getting Sea of Thieves and Grounded mixed up with
No,
each other.
there's like barely any ground in Sea of Thieves.
That's true. That is true.
It's
You
but
play
also
you
that's
played
actually
Grounded once or twice, though, right?
I played it once, and it's a game that's on my list of games to play. It's more specifically going to be leaning towards doing that on YouTube as a series, more so than doing it on Twitch, because the game is huge, but there's like a story element to it. Um,
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just like a
no,
team-based survival thing.
there's like an actual. It's once 1.0 came out, which was last year. There was an actual official ending to the game, an actual story. The game has been in early access for like 3 or 4 years, but then when 1.0 was released about a year and a half ago, that was when like they were like, "Here's the story, guys, go check it out." And so like yeah, you can go in and like for the most part, it is just survive in this overgrown world or in this world as Honey I Shrunk the Kids, but there's like it's the mystery of like how you came to be small because your character and you the player don't know how this happened. The character lost their memory, so you have to go through and try to understand what happened and why you're small, and then you find out things. I've watched some people play it here and there. I don't know the full story, but I know events that happen.
And I was thinking just now about it. I think the reason in my head I had Sea of Thieves is because that was the big rumored one.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently it's coming to see PS5. I just got post. There's somebody posted something from a YouTube link. Let's see. Yeah, Sea of Thieves officially posted it on YouTube that it's coming to PS5.
Nice.
So I literally minutes ago.
Like
Let's see,
that
hold on.
game could not run on the Switch. Like
5 hours ago is when they posted that, and I mean, yeah, probably not. I don't know.
it's the water physics. Like it could run, but it would look very bad.
Unless it was like cloud gaming.
That's true. I mean, the
Yeah.
same thing could be said for for these Obsidian games. Well, the grounded side of it, at least. I don't think Pen and Mint actually has that much. Which that's the other one that's coming over. Pen and Mint, also an Obsidian game, coming to the Nintendo Switch.
I didn't even realize that was a freaking Xbox game.
Yep. Both of them are from Obsidian.
I have zero interest in that game. That game looks, I don't know.
It's from what people were very into it when it released. I want to say 2 years ago, maybe 3.
Yeah.
It's apparent like it is more than what it looks like based on how everyone was talking about it around release. And I've always been interested in it, just not enough to buy it.
Yeah.
But as like a Switch game, depending on how it plays, I might be a little more willing. Also, depending on the price. If it's a $70 game, then no, fuck that.
Right.
Yeah. Now I'm sure. That game's already out, right?
Yeah, it's been out for a couple years.
It's $20.
Yeah, so hopefully it doesn't get Nintendo taxed.
It's not going to get Nintendo taxed. It's going to be $20 on Nintendo. It's not going to. They're not going to raise it to $40 or $40, or they're not going to raise it to $30.
How fucking funny would it be if they raised it to $40 though?
That would be stupid. That would be so dumb because then there's no reason to buy the game. And that would be Xbox turning around and trying to make a point as to why they don't want to release games on other consoles. Because like no one's buying it. Well, no one's buying it because I can buy it on PC on Steam for $20 fucking flat rate.
And
like,
it probably is not going to come up in price because this one is also today. I'm sorry, tomorrow. Today's still the 21st. Tomorrow it's releasing on PS4, PS5, and Switch.
Yeah.
So it probably will be still 20.
Yeah. So like Sea of Thieves will have I believe Sea of Thieves will most likely have cross progression because it has cross progression from Xbox to PC Game Pass. Like that's cross progress. So everything else should because it's an online only game. It's like Apex, which should have always had cross progress. Should have always.
I mean, the progress is dependent on them potentially linking Xbox services into the other consoles. Like I won't say guaranteed Sea of Thieves will have cross play, yeah. Progress, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. It's as simple as just logging in with your account onto Sea of Thieves.
Do you log in with like a Rare account or something like that? Or
I just log in. It's just my Xbox account.
Okay, that's what I figured. I just wasn't sure.
It's Xbox owned, so it's just an Xbox account.
Again, that's what I figured, but I played that game once when it came out, didn't have fun, and never played it again.
Yeah. However, guys, there's an Ender Lilies 2, which I didn't even know they were making.
Yeah. Well, Ender Magnolia.
Well, yeah, it's the sequel to Ender, or successor. I don't. You can't really do a sequel, but they're also not doing a sequel because in this one, they're not spirits, they're homunculi, and it's like a completely different part of the world. It doesn't have the same character, so it's a successor. It's like a Final Fantasy type sequel. I'm assuming.
I don't know. They keep calling it a sequel. I feel like everyone's confused about what it is.
But I mean, Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy 3 are sequels to each other, but they have nothing to do with each other. That's what kind of a sequel is. If you did everything and beat the game, beat like the full final boss in Ender Lilies, you ended everything in Ender Lilies. So what they were saying here, this is a different part of the world, and the character's name isn't even the same name as the character's name isn't Lily. So there's that too.
Well, yeah, their name is Magnolia, I guess, right?
No, they said her name. I can't remember.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. I can't remember what it was.
I only vaguely paid attention to it. Like, I saw what it was. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I was at work, so it didn't really register too much beyond that.
Yeah.
I thought Ender Lilies was neat, the little bit I tried of it.
Ender Lilies is great, man. It's such a good game. It's such a, it's a great style of game. It's not, I think you would, if you stuck with it, would really enjoy it because it's more of like a Metroidvania than it is a Soulsborne. You don't lose progress, you don't lose like souls or anything like that if you die. It's straight up more Metroidvania. And there's not it's not there are some difficult bosses, but like it's not terribly hard. It's not incredibly hard.
Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't have any problems with it. Like it was fun enough. It's just I wasn't in the mood for it at the time. And I died in like the same area twice, and I was too far away from like the save point to want to do it a third time. And I just haven't gone back to it.
it's the character's name is Lilac in Enter Magnolia.
Well, that's silly. They should just the character's name should be Magnolia.
Right?
Honestly, yeah, they should have stuck
Or
with
it should
that
be Ender
theme.
Lilac.
It should have been Ender Lilac or yeah, just like they did Ender Lilies. But well, that's the thing. Spoilers for Ender Lilies. Like the reason it's Ender Lilies is because you're like a clone.
Okay. I mean that's fair.
So that's I guess maybe why you can lean on it that way. Maybe you're a clone of Magnolia. Maybe
I still
Lilac
don't like
is-
it.
But
I'm gonna boycott this game now because the name doesn't make sense.
nah, don't boycott the game. Don't boycott the game. It's great. It's great. Like not as good as like the Ori series, but it's up there in some of my favorite games that I've played. I still have to get the last achievement, which is get max level. I haven't done that yet.
Well, did you guys see what Japan is getting?
I did.
What's Japan getting?
Mother 3.
3.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yep.
What for the Nintendo Switch Online stuff?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get it eventually.
Nope, never happening. Nintendo hates everybody. Just doesn't want
Yeah,
anyone
like-
to have nice things.
At this point, I'm pretty sure that's why Reggie retired. He pushed that ball for so long and just got nowhere.
was-
He's like, well, I just can't work here anymore. No one's gonna believe me.
It was a forced retirement because they got tired of him asking, so they made him leave.
Yeah, exactly.
But like we're getting Blast Core though, like
Look,
and
I will
Snake Rattle and
say
Roll.
those rare games coming over are neat. Like RC Pro Am, great game, Drew. We were talking about that before Richie hopped on.
Yep. I played a little bit of it because that game is dope.
Battletoads is unfortunately hard, but still a fun time. I've never played Blast Corps. I honestly have nothing to say about that one.
I don't touch the N64 because there's not really many good games on the N64.
There are plenty
This
of
is
good
an accurate
games.
statement.
I'm saying on the N64 emulator on.
Oh yeah, no, that thing. Well, what's it got? It's got Mario 64 and 2 Zeldas, right?
No, it's got friggin' Mario or Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 or some shit like that.
I'm almost positive it has Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask too.
I'm opening it up now. Nope,
Maybe it's
I
just
need
been
it.
so long since you opened it that you didn't realize those games had been added.
Possibly, but we'll see. It was trying to tell me to download software to update, probably for Blast Core. Let's see. So GoldenEye, Harvest Moon, Pilot Wings, Jet Force Gemini, Pokemon Stadium 2, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Puzzle League, Win Back Covert Operations, Sin and Punishment, Star Fox 64. Okay, I'll allow that. Kirby 64, which I've never played. Yoshi's Story, which I've never played. Banjo Kazooie, which I've never played. F-Zero X, which I've never played. Mario Kart 64. Wave Race 64. Excite Bike 64. And then, yes, Mario 64, Paper Mario, Dr. Mario 64, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Mario Party 2, 1, 2, and 3. Yes, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and 1080 snowboarding.
Tons of good games. They probably
That
play
is
like
like-
crap.
Also, that is like every good game ever released for the N64.
Oh yeah. I didn't say there were more good games. I just said there were plenty of them.
Yeah.
Speaking of I don't know, old games, I guess. Epic Mickey is getting a remake.
Yeah.
But I love how in the video they're just like, it's a ground up remake of this classic. It's a fucking Wii game. It's like 10 years old, and I feel like it didn't do super well when it came out.
I mean, because it was on Wii.
I mean that's fair, but you know there were a lot of Wiis out there. People loved that thing, but just for Wii Sports. But yeah, like I know in one of Jason Schreier's books there was a chapter on Epic Mickey, and I feel like it was because the game didn't do well. But maybe I'm misremembering what that chapter was about, or which book it was in for that matter.
I mean, it. I don't think it had anything to do with it not doing good. I remember it reviewing fairly well.
But
Yeah.
reviews and sales are not the same thing.
This is also true.
That's more what I mean. Like I feel like it didn't
But I mean,
sell well.
it did get a sequel, so it
Oh,
had
did
to
it?
sell.
It
Yeah.
got it. Yeah, like it didn't it get 2 sequels or something like that. I'm
No,
looking
I
it up
mean,
right
I
now.
think they. Oh, so there was a 3DS sequel that was different than the sequel to the console.
Okay, that seems about right.
Looking on Wiki, the lowest score it got was from GameSpot, which was a 6.
That's lower than I would have thought anywhere gave it. Because I do also remember it getting
But
pretty
it
good reviews.
it averaged that's the lowest. It averaged 7s and 8s. 8.2 or no, I guess 8.5 and or 85% according to official Nintendo magazine. Or Famitsu gave it a 31 out of 40. Fucking 40. Good game gave it a 13 out of 20. Come the fuck on. 10-point scale, guys. That's it. 100-point scale, 10-point scale.
It did only get a 2 out of 5 from Giant Bomb, who reviewed it.
Yeah. Metacritic had it at a 73.
Yeah, so I didn't think it reviewed poorly. I thought it was kind of a flop as far as sales went. So I just don't remember people really talking about it.
On November 30th, 2010, the release date in North America, the game was completely sold out on Nintendo Store website by the afternoon. Game sold 1.3 million copies its first month.
Okay.
June 2011, game sold 2 million copies in North America and Europe. So you're just wrong.
I don't know. 2 million copies on a console that had 150 million consoles is fucking awful.
This is 2 million by
After almost a full year, almost no more copies sold. Like the game's not being printed anymore. Like 2 million is what it sold.
That is still better than I thought. Like I just remember
a 1 in
my head, that
1
game
in
just did
100
nothing.
detach rate. Like yeah, like no, it did kind of. I'd say that's a fairly relative flop for I'm sure what it cost everything to make. Like 2 million's not good.
Yeah, I mean, like numbers don't lie, but it sold better than I thought it did. I will say that about it. Let's see what else was here. Some Shin Megumi Tensei DLC ish. Like it's not a full game.
No.
No, from what I understand, it's like additional content, but it's being released separately.
Oh, okay.
It's the enhanced version of the 2021 release of this game.
Okay.
So it's like the royal version or
Right.
the golden. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense.
Agreed.
And Super Monkey Ball. We're getting a Super Monkey Ball on the Switch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
we're
about
getting
that?
it's a new Super Monkey Ball because they recently re-released they had a collection.
Right.
But yeah, what was the other one? I was looking at Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. I don't know. I think it is. I don't know. The definitive version
Apparently,
of Shin
Drew Rich
Megami
wasn't
Tensei.
listening to us at all.
Clearly.
I was looking stuff up. I heard you say it, but
It's
includes
the Persona Royal
yeah.
Golden version
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
We got there already.
I wanna ask a question and just hear me out.
3.5.
Can you consider two games in one box to be a collection?
I mean, yeah, if there's only 2 games.
But there's more than 2 Battlefront games.
Yeah, but the 2 newer ones don't count.
I'm just saying, there's more than 2 Battlefront games.
But this is called the Classic Collection.
Yeah.
I just think I don't like the I just find it funny. It's 2 games. This is not a collection. This is 2 games. A collection is a bunch of things, like a number of games. Like I'm not you can't call this a collection. It's 2 games. I know I'm splitting hairs here. I just find it funny that it's like, oh, it's the Battlefront Classic Collection with 2 games. Like,
yeah, but it's 2 games with 64-player multiplayer.
Yeah, I'm not playing it.
I mean, I didn't expect you to. You don't like Star Wars.
No, I do like Star Wars, and I loved the Battlefront games. I'm not getting this.
Because it's a collection and you don't like collections?
No, I love collections. I just have zero interest in playing remastered versions of old ass games like this. Like, and it's barely remastered. Look at how they look. Those games looked bad.
They look like brand new Switch games to me.
No, they looked rough.
They looked better than PS2 games, but yeah, they look very.
It looks like GameCube games. Like they looked like a little bit better GameCube games. Like
Sir,
it's not.
You need to go actually boot up a GameCube game.
But
they
at
least look better than that.
I would much rather them have made a working Battlefront game than re-release the old games.
I think
Like
the
that
problem is the two newer ones people didn't like.
because they EA'd the fuck out of it.
Yeah, and
I think y'all forget how those little Battlefront games were.
No,
Like,
I loved those old Battlefront games.
I-
They were fantastic.
so to be clear, I didn't like the originals either, but I know people loved them. They're fucking at the time they weren't online, but they're just fucking multiplayer games.
They're squad shooters.
Yeah, they were fucking boring.
Like if you have people to play it with, it's fantastic. Like the likelihood of me getting these games is very minimal unless I like know people that really, really, really want to play them with me. Otherwise, like I'm like I don't need to go back and play these. If I had the original versions for the GameCube, all right, sure, I'll play them. If I had a GameCube too that could play them, but I'm not gonna bother. I don't think this is a collection we need. I feel like they wasted their time making this collection when they could have, like I said, just made a better Battlefront game that actually works
But this
and
is cheaper.
isn't pay to win.
This was cheaper though.
Yeah, capitalism.
Isn't Aspire the studio that was doing the Knights of the Old Republic remake 2 that got shelved?
that sounds right.
Looking it up real quick. Knights of the Old Republic. Oh, it doesn't actually have a Wikipedia page. That's a bummer. Oh, here we go. Remakes are active. Yeah, Aspire. I'm surprised they let Aspire keep doing this, considering they apparently really dropped the ball on the KOTOR remake.
Did they though? Has there been
Apparently
official...
Disney or whoever were so not happy with what they were doing that they've shelved the game. Like it's indefinitely on hiatus or delayed or something like that.
Weird.
Yeah. But like they're still letting these guys do all sorts of like ports and remasters of stuff.
I mean, I'm gonna bet Battlefront was a way easier game to port than fucking KOTOR.
And
well,
you're
they also
also
weren't porting it.
Yeah, they were ground up remaking KOTOR rather than just.
I guarantee Battlefront's a way easier game to ground up remake because, boy, having played the PC version of KOTOR, it could be a fucking mess.
Oh yeah, I mean there is a lot of stuff behind it depending on how they were remaking that. But looking at what I've never looked at Aspire's like catalog. They basically exclusively do ports and remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're doing this Battlefront Classic Collection. They did the Tomb Raider one. They did the Knights of the Old Republic ones. Basically all the Star Wars Switch stuff over the last like 2 or 3 years. The Sid Meier Civilization to Android port. Like, yeah, I wish I could say I was surprised that they got pulled off of that remake, but while they've been around a long time, they don't seem to do a lot of their own ground up stuff. They work with a base and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I think that KOTOR stuff it is too big of a gap for like where those games are and where they were trying to take them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Anything else from that Nintendo thing that jumped out to you guys though?
Crab game, another Crab's Treasure. I'm all for it.
That seemed like it could be interesting.
I feel like I missed that one.
It was
early in it, right?
No, I think it was midway. But you probably stopped bothering with it when you heard them say Soul Style.
I don't even see it on the
it
list
was
of games.
It was after Gundam, but before Endless Ocean, so it was near the end.
Yeah, you know what? Being at work, I did probably just totally miss it.
Yeah, but you play as a little hermit crab whose shell gets taken. And so you go on an adventure to get your shell back, and you have to use things you find, like cans and cups and boxes and things like that, as your shell. And it's like a Soul style game where I guess I don't really know. They just called it a Soul style or something like that.
I feel like that's just a catch-all at this point.
I mean, it looks like it has like melee combat type stuff, and seemingly some like large bosses.
Yeah. I wish I knew anything about the Sword Art Online games because I'm like, man, I like that series, but I'm not gonna play it because I don't want to play anime games.
And like a Sword Art game probably is going to be very, I don't know. It's probably not going to play super well because they know they're just going to get people buying it based on the name.
Yeah, and also like if it's not good, you're not going to be able to do half the shit because it's 20-player raids in this game. And so, like, you won't be able to do some of the end game content if it's not good because people aren't going to be playing it. So it's like, oh, well, I kind of want to play it because it seems neat, but also, if no one's playing it, there's no point in playing it because like, you can't experience the full game.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I know we heard about this in the past, but Unicorn Overlord, stupid name, but cool style game.
Yeah, it's on my radar.
I that's another one I missed.
That was like the
It's
third thing they showed.
Vanillaware.
Yeah.
It's like a tactical RPG type.
It's like a tactical RTS.
Yeah.
They called it like it was turn-based. Yeah. Well, they called it an RTS, but it is turn-based. So yeah, who knows? Real turn strategy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
totally fucking missed it. Or like, I just didn't I watched it and just it didn't sink in at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was kind of swapping. I was at a client, so I was just on my laptop and had to keep like flipping to do other stuff. So I was listening more than watching in some cases.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like I saw World of Goo. World of Goo looked kind of stupid, like in a funny way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good about the original, so they're not my style of games. Like, I mean, it'd be a nice game to have for when on the road and whatnot, but I don't go on the road, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I did think a ranger was just a silly name.
What's that?
Thought a ranger was a silly name.
A ranger?
Yeah, that it was that puzzle like slide puzzle game.
Oh, right.
It's literally called a ranger, ARRANGER, a role puzzling adventure.
Yeah, that game seems silly. That's like it's in that area of like Tales of the Necrodancer and Crypt of the Necrodancer stuff that I'm like, interested, but no, I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna. It's gonna be. I don't know. It just feels like it's flashy but boring, and it's because it's like an RPG in a longer format puzzle game. It's gonna get repetitive fast.
Oh, absolutely. But it looked neat.
Yeah,
and that's what matters. If games
yeah,
look neat.
yeah. And then Endless Ocean, guys. Endless Ocean.
No,
Just gotta talk about the Endless Ocean, man.
absolutely not.
But it was their biggest thing they had. They opened up with two really big things and ended it with Endless Ocean.
I can't believe you haven't mentioned Monster Hunter once.
I'd never even beat Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Well, now you can play the first one and get the full story.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the full story because they're not connected.
You don't know. You didn't play them.
No, I do know. They're not connected.
I've heard it both ways.
I heard what both ways?
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't. The game Monster Hunter Stories 2 was good, but I lost touch with it, and the battle system's fun, but it is essentially just a Rochambeau, and it can get very. It again can be very like same with the Arranger. It can get just repetitive. The combat was getting repetitive.
I feel like now that your channel is fully an RPG channel, you might be into it more.
I mean, if I were to get back into it, I would have the new. I wouldn't be playing a different game every day like I was when I first played Stories. But I'm just not interested to get back into Stories. They're solid games, but it's not necessarily what I'm looking for in a Monster Hunter game. I don't want a turn-based RPG Monster Hunter game. I want a Monster Hunter game. I want an action RPG Monster Hunter game.
Fine. Don't. That's all I can say. Don't.
I won't.
Do you guys want to move along to Lethal Company?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, Rich, talk about Lethal Company.
I was waiting to hear if like Drew had anything to say or anything.
Yeah, no, I mean I got nothing else to say.
So yeah, I have you guys both heard of Lethal Company?
I have.
Yeah, isn't it like like streamers paid to have it made or something like that?
I don't know
That
that.
I couldn't tell you.
I've never heard that before. But it's a small indie team made this game where it's basically it's I'm trying to think. You're space trash men. Essentially. It's kind of a cross between like the Phasmophobia type games, like the ghost hunting games, and Among Us, but no one's actually a villain. Everyone's just trying to survive. And I only say Among Us because you kind of look like Among Us people, kind of. But you're hired for this company to go to planets and salvage materials from the planets and then sell them to the company. And you're given a quota, and you have 3 days to reach that quota. And after those 3 days, if you don't reach the quota, you get fired out of your rocket ship. If you do reach the quota, you get an increased quota, and you have to do it again. Because capitalism, that's just how it works. When you do good, they make you do more. If you do bad, you're done, and they don't help you. Capitalism. So this game, like, that's how this game goes. You go to a planet and you go walking around and you just gather different supplies and you bring it back to your ship and you drop it off and you go back in and you gather more supplies. But there are different.
I thought this was a shooter.
No.
Honestly, so did I.
Obviously, you guys did not watch my stream last night.
No, we talked
I
about
have
it earlier.
literally watched nothing of this game in all the months it's been out.
No, it's not a shooter at all. It's fantastic. The game is multiplayer only. It's specifically like you can play it solo, but like you're not gonna achieve as much. You need multiple players, and a lot of the things that like are good about the game, specifically, is the proximity chat voice control. It's very good. Whereas, like, if you're on the ship and you're talking, you might get it's hard to say. Like, you sound like you're indoors, and then when you step outdoors, you sound like you're outside. When you go into the facility, you can hear your echoes. If somebody's further away, like, you can hear their distance. So you can be walking around this facility and like near no one, and then suddenly you're hearing your friends. And if you're lost, you're shouting, "Help! I need help! I need help! I can't get out." Or just occasionally you'll just see one of your friends just running and screaming, "Nope, nope, 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 nope," as you look down from where they're coming from, and there's a giant spider or other monster down the way to come and eat you and stop you. There's no identifiers on screen, no HUD about whether or not somebody's dead or alive. If you're watching them on screen, it'll just show them stop moving, and that's it. And you kind of just have to assume that they're dead. Or if you're watching them and they die, then like, all right, they die. And it's just it's a purely a party style game that can have like silly, funny, great scenarios that happen to it, and a super active modding community. Which there are some really good mods out there. Like there's one of the creatures are these little bugs. They're called hoarder bugs, and they will walk up to you and like put their hands out. And if you don't give them an item in time, they will grow big and attack you. They normally just make like a little skittering noise, but there's a mod out there that if you give them an item, they shout "Yippee!" and then they run away, which is great. There's a mod out there that modders have put in where some of the creatures can mimic the voices of the proximity chat and mimic the voices they hear and mimic what they've heard people say, like to a point that like it'll take, like, if somebody's just saying hello in their message but they say like, "Hi, where are you guys at, what are you doing," the mimic will just take the "Hi, hello, where are you at," like not the whole
so it's recording you while you're talking.
Oh, the game's recording you 100% the entire time, because there are aliens that will respond to your voice. So if you're on the ship being the man on the computer, being Genki, you can sit there and be talking on your walkie-talkies like, "Hey, I see an item in this room, I see an item in that room," and if you hear something outside, you have to be dead quiet, or the creature might come into the ship and attack you because it hears you talking. The game is like, yeah, the mimic thing is recording you. I'm sure it deletes your recording immediately after. Who knows? I don't know. I just find it fun. And there's already so many hours of my voice being recorded on the internet that doesn't matter to me. But yeah, it's just a silly, fun party game that I absolutely enjoyed. Base game is 4 players, but there's a more company mod to have more than 4 players, and it doesn't having more players. I don't think it breaks the game. I think having, because it's like up to 8 players with this mod, I don't think it quite breaks the game, because you still get into some weird, ridiculous scenarios that, like, we had one or two levels where all but one person died because that one person stayed back on the ship. Whereas if we were only playing with 4 players, that person still would have stayed back on the ship. So it still would have been everyone but one person dying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun, silly game. I really enjoy it. I'll be playing it again next month, and probably a monthly game after that. But it's unfortunate that like you need a group of people to play it, and so like you can't really successfully play the game alone, because if you try to play it alone and you die, then if you die and you have stuff on your ship and everyone on your group dies, everything that was on your ship gets left. So if you're playing solo and you grab a bunch of stuff and then you end up dying, everything you just grabbed just disappears because you're technically now like a new group of people.
Which that seems to make sense for the type of game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I played it for a couple of hours last night on stream, and it's definitely, if you have a group of people to play this game with, or if you enjoy just being silly and not taking life seriously, this is definitely a kind of game to play. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah. I have heard the name a whole bunch, and it's been out for like 2 or 3 months now, right? Maybe a little longer.
I don't know. It's
I
been
don't
out.
think it's been out terribly long.
It's been out since at least December. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I thought it was like end of the year. October
23rd was when it released, but I probably didn't start learning about it till mid-November or December.
That's around when I remember started hearing about it, like during like the Christmas season, basically.
Yeah, it's
But, like,
fully.
I hadn't seen anything.
Yeah, it's fully a PvE game. There's no PvP at all. There's mods to where somebody can run around as the aliens, but I don't really like that mod because the aliens have rules, and a player running around as an alien doesn't have to listen to those rules. For instance, there is essentially there's a monster called a springhead. It is, for the easiest way to explain it, it's a weeping angel. If you stare at it and look at it, it won't move. But once you take your eyes off it, it will walk towards you, and if you keep your eyes off it for too long, it'll attack you. But if you're playing the mod where you can be the aliens, you don't have to do that. There's one that we ran into yesterday. I didn't get to experience. That is a nutcracker, and he has a shotgun, and so he just walks around, and if he sees you, he will shoot you. But if you like happen to be able to bonk his head or attack him and kill him, you can take a shotgun from him.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Stealing from aliens before they steal from you.
They're not going to steal from you. They're just going to steal your life. You are stealing from aliens. Who knows why these aliens are in these facilities? There's people out there all over the place. Like, oh, here's what the lore is. Here's what this is about. Here's what this game is about. Like, no, this game isn't about any of that. This game is just about friends. The story is the friends you made along the way.
Well, that's boring.
It's like, because like
Who
they're
needs
like
friends.
I've watched videos of people like, what's the creature at the company home? Why does he need all this trash? Why this? Why that? Blah blah blah. And what's going on? And I'm just like, sometimes a game is just a game and nothing else.
That is true. That is very true. That's insightful of you.
Yeah, thanks.
Anything else you really want to say about Lethal Company?
No. I mean, I'll be playing it again next month. Because we already reached 5 subs so far this month. We're at 7, so it's my 5 sub reward.
Is that like like community game sort of deal?
Yeah. So I do, for getting subs. I do, if we get 5 subs, we play Lethal Company. If we get 10 subs, I'll play a spooky game. 15 subs, I'll play Mario Kart, and so like it adds up. So it's like if we get 15, I do all 3. If we get 20, it's I think I have a D&D stream. I have people who want to do D&D on stream, but that won't be the month after because I'd have to make sure to plan that. But like, I have sub rewards for we can do different streams. If we we'll do different either community or different kinds of streams. That's where I was playing the retro games for a while, but I just got tired of retro games, and I don't like retro games, so I stopped doing it. And in place of Lethal Company, and so once a month on my Discord, you guys are going to be hearing me say, hey, who's playing some Lethal Company? Or I'll be building it up for a week or two, being like, hey, this day for Lethal Company, just to get people to play. Because you need at least 2 people to play that game properly.
Which, yeah, that makes sense. Is it free to play?
No, it's $10. But
okay, that's actually not bad then.
No, yeah, I sent I messaged a few friends who are always looking for, or not always looking for more games to play, but sometimes looking for more games to play. And I'm like, y'all should. I was like, y'all should get Lethal Company. And they're like, yeah, just missed a really good sale on that. And I'm like, it's fucking $10. It's always a good sale. Like, you don't need to wait for this game to be on sale because an 80% sale is going to be a $4. It's going to be a $2 game. Like a 20% sale is only going to make the game $8. Like,
I was gonna
you
say
don't need to wait for a good sale. Like,
I would
just
probably buy it if it was on 80% off.
look. I got Lego City Undercover, which we'll talk about more next week, on an 80% off discount for $5. That's a $30 game. Like, that's when you wait for a good sale for a $30 game. A $10 game, just buy it.
Well, I mean,
also,
you also wait for the $10 game to go on sale if you know you're not really going to play it.
I mean, maybe, but if you know you have enough people to play it and enough people who want to play it, then just pay the $10 for it to play it. Don't wait for it to go on sale. $10 is $10. Who cares? It's $10.
That's $10 I could use on something else, though.
Like what?
I don't know. Gas for my car?
Which you need another 20 for that.
Parking at a concert?
Which you need another 20 for that.
No, you just need another 5 to 10 depending on where you're going.
Exactly. I'm saying, what can you get for $10 or less? A coffee.
Yeah, I like coffee. I like coffee more than multiplayer games.
This is
I mean,
true.
I'm not calling out for you to get this game. I'm calling out.
I know
for
that. I'm not saying other people shouldn't do it. I'm just simply saying myself. For $2, I'd probably get it just to load it up and see what it looked like. For $10, nah.
Yeah. But I mean, I also got the entire Prince of Persia collection for like $4.
I wonder how those games hold up.
I who knows, but I'll be playing them eventually because
Is it just the Xbox trilogy or is it more than that?
No, it's the GameCube and the Xbox stuff. It's Sands of Time and everything that came after that, and the Xbox 360 one that came out.
So it's Sands of Time, Warrior Within, and Two Thrones, and then Prince of Persia, just adjectiveless.
Yeah.
The one from '08, I want to say.
Yeah, and then there was one more, I think. Let's see. Where does it recently? Yeah. Forgotten Sands, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, Two Thrones, and Warrior Within. I don't remember if you said all of those, but yeah, it was 5 games. So
which that you said $4?
something like that. It was very cheap. Let's see. Where's my?
It looks like it's on sale for $9 right now.
There, I would still
instead of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, $10 for 5 games, even if they are 20-year-old games, that's actually still not bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If that, I assume it was on Steam.
Yeah, it was on Steam.
Yeah, I would buy that on Switch or something.
I mean, they don't have a collection of the game though. It's literally it was just a bundle on Steam for all of the games. It's not like a Prince of Persia collection.
Oh, like you literally bought each one individually?
Well, it's bundled on Steam at a discounted rate.
Yeah.
And then that was
okay.
discounted on top of it. So yes, I did technically buy them separately, but Steam does game bundles. So all 5 games were a total of $10. Because
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, they do that with game franchises and stuff.
I've seen them do the bundles when it was get the DLC and the soundtrack or whatnot. I didn't know they did it for franchises and things like that, but I also don't look at the Steam store too often, especially not for older games.
I mean, that's how I got the Back to the Future Telltale's games. They had a Telltale's bundle that was all of the Telltale's games, or at the time all of them. I have up to let's see. Can I just Telltale's? Can I search Telltale's? I have the Batman Telltale series was for the podcast. I have the Game of Thrones. No, because I think I had that for the PlayStation. But I have the Game of Thrones Telltale series, Batman Telltale series, Back to the Future. I believe I have Sam and Max. And I have 1 or 2 of the Walking Deads. I got that all on a bundle.
Nice.
And it's also Orange Box was technically the first bundle. It was Half-Life, Half-Life 2, all the Half-Life add-on shit.
Yeah, well, but that was actually a product.
It was. But
that was released on everything.
That it was.
Yeah.
That was how Portal was released to the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cobb, you can buy a Call of Duty franchise bundle on Steam.
Oh, that's right. I think I mentioned that to you guys.
Yeah,
One of the podcasts that I forget what I think it was Fire Escape. Somebody's like relative spent like or $500 or something like that and got all of the Call of Duty games.
It's almost $1,000 right now.
Yeah, they got it on like a crazy sale. Like I think they actually may have gotten it for under 200. I forget exactly what the amount was.
But yeah, that's a lot of games.
Yeah, too many games. Would you guys like to move along and talk about Day Shift?
Sure.
Let's do it. What'd you guys think of Day Shift, the the modern day vampire slaying movie?
I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was like it wasn't the best movie ever, but it definitely wasn't a bad movie. It was an enjoyable popcorn action flick that was also just silly.
It knew what it was. It didn't try to be overly serious. It was predictable, but in a way that those movies always are. Like you knew someone was going to die, but you knew that they were going to win in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't know that Dave Franco was in this. So when I
only knew because I looked it up.
When I first saw him, I was like, I don't know. But I mean, then he wasn't that bad. He's not as bad as he is in Scrubs season 9, so that's good.
Oh, see, I like Dave Franco, but I've never watched Scrubs season 9.
Scrubs season 9, he's a douche, and I just can't stand him.
So I feel like early Dave Franco, he played the douche more often.
Yeah.
Like in the last like 5, 6, 7 years, he definitely plays more like goofy characters.
Yeah.
Because like I can't really think of anything like he was a douche in 21 Jump Street, for instance. But like that was literally the character he was supposed to be. But in a lot of other stuff, like he's kind of just like the weird guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he was good in it. Didn't know Snoop Dogg was in it.
No, that was the best. Snoop Dogg was fantastic in this movie, man.
Snoop Dogg is like a fucking cowboy vampire hunter.
Yeah, he was. Man, I loved his like when he comes walking in at the end of the movie and he just has that mini gun.
Yeah,
I was just like, I was blown. I was like, this is fantastic. I was not expecting this, but also like, it's no shock that they had him come in and be epic, but epic with that mini gun was fantastic.
Yeah, because like honestly, because like he wasn't in so much of, like he was in that early scene, and I'm just like, okay, well that was just like a fun little cameo. I really didn't expect him to show up again, and then for him to like come like blasting through the fucking thing in a pickup truck and mowing people down with a minigun, that was great.
Yeah. You could obviously tell when they had to do the cuts so that he could have his stunt double do any of his stunts, because like you never saw his head, you never saw anything of him when he's like doing the flips, doing this, doing that. Like it's obvious he is not doing his own stunts.
Oh yeah. I think I will say like all the fight scenes, while they were over the top and silly, like they were fun. Like
yeah.
So this movie was put into my I learned about this movie from watching Corridor Crew, which is a YouTube channel. And they do one of their Saturday shows is they'll do like either because they're CG artists and what's it called, VFX artists. So they'll do like a VFX artist react, or they'll do an animator's react. Or sometimes, and this is how I learned about it, they'll do a stunt person's react. And that entire first fight scene was like 99% real. And like the person was an actual contortionist and things like that. Like it wasn't like, and that's what they did with a lot of the movie. If I remember correctly, like a lot of the movie was like real, like with the vampires flipping and turning, like they're contortionists. They're not just like body doubles and stuff like that, which was like one of the things that I really loved about this movie.
Yeah, I like that every time there was any sort of action, Dave Franco peed himself.
Yeah.
Like that was a fun joke. Like, and it was one of those jokes where like it happened once and you're like, oh, that's actually really funny. And then like it happened again and it's like, oh, that shouldn't be funny again, but it is.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes bits just like that's the rule of a bit. It's a rule of threes. After the third time, it's not funny, but the first 3 times, it's funny. After that, it's not. And like they stuck by that, and the rule of threes really helped with that one, especially at the end when he's like, I didn't pee my pants, and they're like, well, yeah, vampires don't pee. He's like, can I just have this, guys?
Yeah, they don't pee or poop, and then the little girl's like, does that mean they're full of shit?
Yeah. And that was the other thing. This movie had great one-liner, like well-timed, well-placed one-liners like that.
Yeah, like it's definitely not a, I want to talk about this movie to like everyone I know and get them to watch it, but I'm not like disgruntled I watched it or anything like that.
No,
Like,
this is definitely like a movie that I'm happy I watched once. And like I say with my parameters with movies, if I were flipping through the channels and happen to see it on, sure, there's nothing else. I'll watch it.
yeah, you know what? I don't think I would watch it again, but it's one of those where I have nothing but like good
Yeah.
opinions of the time I spent watching it. Like sometimes you watch a 2-hour movie and you're just like, well, that was 2 hours completely fucking wasted. And it's like, no, you know what? I laughed I laughed enough times. Like I thought the action was like the action was over the top, but like it was supposed to be. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, you know what? Like they did what they set out to do. It wasn't boring. Like they had a good cast.
They did.
Like Jamie Foxx is a good actor. Like the fact that they got him to do that, like just this stupid over the top fucking vampire slayer movie, like that was a good time.
Yeah.
There was something else I was gonna say about it, and now I'm drawing a blank. Oh, the fight scene at the house with the hive or whatever they called it, or horde.
Yeah.
I thought that one was fun with the two brothers who were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
He actually did spit the garlic in his face and it put a hole into his head, which was fantastic.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah, that was good. And that the one scene near the end where the one brother's like, I'm out, give me a bullet, and the other brother like just ejects the bullet from his gun, and the other brother like spins and like lands it right into his gun and shoots the vampire. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
it's one of these movies where you can easily suspend disbelief and you know that's not going to actually work, but that's just such a cool thing to see happen that, like, you know what? That's worth it. That's worth everything that they did to do that.
Yeah, and I appreciate that fairly early on they did sort of they took a minute to like essentially explain the rules of this world, like because like when he was fighting the old lady, like he just kept shooting her, and like I'm like, well, why don't you have any wood on you? Like,
Yeah.
are they not susceptible to wood? And then like that's how he ends up killing her, like stabbing her with like the broken chair thing and all. But when he's in his storage container with Dave Franco and he's like making the bullets, he like explains like the silver and the bullets and the cutting their heads off and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. So you guys are actually like you're messing with the whole like vampire thing a little bit, but like you're still keeping it grounded in that mythology, so people can at least like grasp what's going on and like expect something.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been it's especially since True Blood. It's been like, okay, silver and this and that and blah 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 for vampires. Like silver has been a thing for vampires at least since True Blood for the everyman. I don't really know a lot about actual vampire lore and mythology to
I mean,
really know.
to the heart, garlic,
Yeah.
crosses, holy water.
Yeah, like that's all I know is all that
I believe
stuff.
silver is also like a thing. I know silver was primarily werewolves, but I think it's been used in vampire lore before.
I
But
mean,
you
I'm pretty sure D&D uses it, but that's also silver is just a fancy metal in general where anything non-magical can get hurt by silver. Or anything magical can get hurt by silver. So it's
yeah, I feel like in a lot of like mythology and lore, like silver is one of those metals for whatever reason that a lot of dark things are susceptible to. It was the Twilight vampires that really fucked like vampire lore up with their like people always make fun of them for sparkling in the sun, but like they were the ones where they didn't have fangs, their teeth were just sharp and venomous, and their skin was really hard, so you couldn't kill them normally. You had to actually like tear them to pieces or something like that.
Yeah, I remember seeing like the like a little bit of the first one, and I saw like the end sequence where like spoilers for the first Twilight movie and book. Apparently, Bella gets bit by one of the bad vampires, and so like then all the good vampires come, and they ended up and they had to rip them apart to kill them and burn them to kill them, and then Edward had to drink her blood to get all the venom out of her, and then still fight the urge to fully drain her, so that he didn't kill her because he was a vampire who never really drank blood. So yeah, it was Twilight's weird, man. It's weird. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I meant. Like they kind of took the vampire lore, and the only thing that was vampire about them was the fact that they hungered for blood. Like all of the other like vampire mythology kind of they did away with. And since then you never quite know what media is going to do when it comes to those things. So it was nice that this movie is like these are more traditional vampires, but like with a little bit more of a modern spin on it. Like they made guns a useful weapon against vampires.
Yeah, yeah. They found ways to be like because wasn't it like no, it was the grenade, which I don't think they ever got to use.
Yeah, they never used the silver grenade.
Which is what I was expecting them to actually use against to kill the last vampire, to kill the big bad. Like I was expecting that to come back in the end.
So I actually thought they were going to use it before Snoop Dogg showed up.
Sure,
I
that-
thought
yeah,
because they had that like big horde of them. I thought like he was going to pull out 2 of the grenades and throw them at them, and then they were going to like jump in the hole or something because they were with 2. He was with 2 vampires.
yeah. I'm kind of bummed out that they didn't use that. Like even if they would have taken that comedic moment and throw them and they just end up being duds.
Yeah,
Like something like that, just to like roll back to that. But I wasn't expecting how they killed the big bad. Like that wasn't it was not something that I had like in my brain that like, oh yeah, he's gonna do the thing he did at the very beginning of the movie.
that was a good like callback to the beginning with that razor
was.
wire trick.
Because I think
Like-
both times he did say it works every time.
Yeah, he did, and it was nice because in the beginning they show him set it up.
Yeah.
And then you see what it does, and then it's at the end they don't show him set it up. It's just all of
Yeah.
a sudden her head falls off, and then they kind of like pan the camera around. You're like, oh, clever.
A well placed monologue, man. Well placed monologue. Always lets the character do what they need to during a well placed monologue.
But yeah, I had fun with that movie.
I did too. I'm happy we watched it. And I'm happy it was good. Cause like especially because this was a Hulu exclusive. Like it didn't go to
Netflix.
theaters. So like or Netflix exclusive. I thought it was Hulu at one point and then went to Netflix, I guess. But it's still like it was a Netflix exclusive. So like those are hit or miss.
Yeah, they are.
Especially like this was a pandemic era Netflix movie too, I think.
It came out last year or the year before.
Okay, yeah. So it was still under COVID precautions during that they were filming. That it's just like it's a hit or miss with those types of movies. And this one, I'm like, this is solid enough to be good.
Yeah, like it's one of those. I don't want them to make a sequel because I feel if they made a sequel, they would just kind of drive it into the ground.
It would
But-
it would wear out its welcome with a sequel.
But I also feel like if they could come up with a good enough reason, that world and those characters could carry another movie.
Yeah, I mean, it would the sequel would be Night Shift, and it would be him working a case in the Night Shift.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's just like it would definitely be a little too formulaic at that point. Like it would end up being somebody connected to the woman he killed, the head vampire at the end. That would probably be the Uber vampire or whatever that Snoop Dogg was looking for.
I Hollywood, hire me now. The big bad would be somebody related to the vampire who got shot in the back while escaping the hive and happened to have the sunblock on, who was able to make it home or to somewhere, and that person happened to be the relative of the vampire that the evil vampire put into a concrete at the beginning of the movie, and they free him, and then it's like, oh, he wants revenge. Well, she was already killed, so he gets revenge on Jamie Foxx for killing her because he wants revenge on her, because that's how movie villains work.
I mean, that
Hollywood,
is how
hire
movie
me
villains
now.
work.
Hire me now, Hollywood, because you know that's what you want.
I mean, they were kind of building up for the what I think they called it El Jefe, is like
yeah,
like the crazy old vampire like master that Snoop Dogg and some other ones were hoping to find someday.
yeah, that could be that too, and they could even just do another, like, it could be a sort of anthology series where like, oh, it's just different characters, different time zone, different like everything. Because that's like some of the good things about movies like this.
We
where it's
saw
just,
how that worked out for fucking Men in Black.
did we? Oh right, I
Yeah,
forgot.
exactly.
I never saw that one. I never saw. I never saw the Thor Men in Black. The Thor in Black, literally, because it's Valkyrie and Chris Hemsworth,
Tessa
right?
Thompson. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't remember her name.
I figured when you named one of them and not the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. The Day Shift was fun. It's worth watching if you like dumb action movies.
Yeah.
If you hate dumb action movies, definitely not worth watching.
Agreed.
Yeah, because not going to be on anyone's Oscar list.
No, not at all.
Though you know what, pretty sure Jamie Foxx has won an Oscar, or at least was nominated for one
Pretty sure.
for when he played what was the
Django,
blind
right?
piano? Oh, I mean, there's
Oh,
that one too, but I was thinking of
Ray.
yes, Ray. Thank you.
He also might
I-
have been nominated for Collateral. That was the him and Tom Cruise movie.
Oh right, man. Jamie Foxx has been in a lot of good movies.
Yeah.
Let's see. He won Best Actor in 2005. I'm guessing that's for Ray.
Yeah,
Was
that sounds like
2005?
that sounds like it was around there.
Yep.
And apparently he.
Oh, so he won. He was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for Collateral the same year he won the Oscar for lead actor for Ray.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
2004, a good year for Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. 2023 apparently not as good because I think he was like really sick for a little while there. But I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah,
I saw he's getting better.
Yeah, he almost died.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. But yeah, he's getting better. He's on the mend.
And he'll come out and we'll get Night Shift. The Day Strikes Back.
Possibly. I'm just looking at it right now as of the 23rd of this year is just undisclosed medical issues. January 23rd of this year is undisclosed medical issues for undisclosed reasons back in July. Yeah, so they're not talking about what he was hospitalized for, but yeah, he's doing better, which is good.
Yeah. Anything else either you guys want to say about Day Shift?
No.
No, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Drew, did you since you didn't have one last week, do you have a pick that you'd like to use now?
No, I didn't. I didn't even think about it.
All right. Well, luckily I have one ready. Next book club, let's watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh boy, the 80s movie.
1992.
I was gonna say it's
Okay.
like 91, 92, but yeah.
80s. Come on now.
Nah, it's 90s.
1992.
80s.
It starred Christy Swanson
Right.
and Luke Perry.
Oh, right.
So there's that. Oh, Paul Rubens and Donald Sutherland are also in it. Rutger
Okay.
Hauer, Hilary Swank, David Arquette. I think Ben Affleck is actually in this movie. Yeah, Ben Affleck, Ricky Lake, Seth Green, and Alexis Arquette are all in this movie.
Who plays Angel?
So this is when Buffy still lived in L.A.
Yeah, I know. There's no Angel. There's no. I guess what's his name? Giles. He's not in this either.
No, because in this one, it's what's his name? It's Donald Sutherland's her watcher.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like not the show and the movie are not like directly linked in any real way, but Buffy in the show moves from LA and there's like a couple throwaway lines that allude to what happened in the movie basically.
Yeah.
And why she had to leave Los Angeles.
Okay.
So, like it's a loose connection at best.
And let's see. All right, we'll watch that.
It's on HBO Max.
Sounds good. I was gonna give Drew a suggestion for when it's his pick of the Lost Boys, which has Kiefer Sutherland in it.
I've seen it.
I've never seen it.
Have you guys seen Vampire's Kiss?
The fuck is that?
Nick Cage vampire movie.
Oh,
We already watched a vampire movie with Nick Cage.
This is
Yeah,
also
but
true.
he is not a vampire in this one.
I know, but still, we need different actors for another vampire movie.
Do we?
Maybe. I mean, look, I could watch Nick Cage all the time.
Yeah. Look, for what it's worth, Vampire's Kiss is on Prime.
Is it on Prime? Yeah, it is on Prime. But
Wait,
got-
when is that movie from? Is this like real bad Nick Cage or
is it 80 something?
Yeah,
I
it's
think is what I was
the
just
late
thinking.
80s. I want to say
Hold on.
88, 89,
Okay.
89. So it's like a good era of Nick Cage. It's not like the real bad era.
Right.
Because I feel like post his big stuff in like the mid 90s, it went downhill for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Nick Cage, somebody made a mod for Baldur's Gate to replace every character's face with Nick Cage.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And
Sounds like a thing people would do.
shockingly, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that sounds about right.
Like somebody, I saw like Karlak as Nick Cage. I'm just like, there's no reason for this to work as well as it does.
So just to throw this out, I looked up the Vampire's Kiss Wikipedia page. The top bit that explains what the movie is. It's a 1989 American black comedy horror film directed by a guy, written by a guy, starring some people. The film tells the story of a literary agent who falls in love with a vampire. It was a box office and critical failure, but the film later developed a cult following, largely due to Cage's scorched earth acting.
Oh, okay.
So that's great.
Is it?
Probably. Like, I feel like that means he just went full Nick Cage in this. And like before that was like a thing.
He went Nick Cage before Nick Cage knew about Nick Cage.
Yeah, apparently the whole thing has become an internet meme too, which I was unaware of. So there's that. But yeah, so in 2 weeks we will watch the 1992 Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie starring Pee Wee Herman.
Sounds good.
And then the last thing we have is I watched the Netflix thriller, I guess it's considered, called Fool Me Once. I'm trying to look it up real quick. That's not how you spell any of those words.
2024.
Yeah, it just came out in
thriller.
January.
Yeah.
Um,
Michelle Keegan, Adele Akhtar, Richard
Yes.
Armitage, Dino Fetcher. Some of the
it's
actors.
based on a book by Harlan Coben, who apparently writes a lot of books like this, and he's had a lot of them optioned for movies and things like that. Movies, TV series, what have you. This series follows a woman who she was like a British Army captain and helicopter pilot that was dishonorably discharged after basically like something she did that she shouldn't have done got leaked to the media. And the military just fired her after it. Where the movie opens is her husband has just recently been murdered, and she's just trying to go on with her life, with her and her small daughter. But she comes home one day and she's checking the nanny cam, and she sees a man walk into her daughter's playroom, pick up her daughter, like play with her for a minute, turn sideways, like looking down the hall. But you get the profile of his face, and it's her husband. And then he like gets up and leaves. But like never fully faces the camera. When she confronts the nanny about it, the nanny pepper sprays her and then steals a memory card and leaves. So like from that point on, like the show kind of becomes more of like a mystery of like what's going on and how was her husband possibly still alive. But every time she kind of like gets a lead, it like opens up another mystery, which was really interesting, and it branched out to not just being a thing that impacted her, but it impacted a bunch of other characters in different ways. So you find out that her sister was murdered actually shortly before her husband was. And the thing they had in common was they both worked for the same pharmaceutical company. And her sister's kids start looking into some stuff that they find when they're going through like their mom's things. They find like an old canister of like 35 millimeter film and get it developed, and like see a bunch of like old pictures of her mom, including her being pregnant before either one of them would have been born. So it kind of leads them on this like, did our mom have a secret life or like a child like out of wedlock? There's a police detective that is investigating basically both of the murders that falls down this weird rabbit hole of he's having like blackouts and seizures and doesn't know why. And everything kind of ends up being like connected a little bit, but not all the way. It was a really interesting like set of disconnected stories that all kind of wrapped up neatly at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Which Rich, this is why I don't think you'd like it, because it's a lot of just kind of random things happening, and it's all like a mystery up till the very end. And I know you're not a huge fan of mysteries.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say because it does sound you're right. It doesn't quite sound like my cup of tea just because it sounds like too much drama.
Oh,
And
it was a lot of drama.
yeah, and just like the instant the nanny would have pepper sprayed her for asking her a single question, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on now.
So it's not just asking a question. Like the woman was obviously like very the main woman that we follow, Maya, like she was very emotional at the time because of what she just saw in nanny cam. So she actually did grab the woman's arm and like pulled her to the computer and was like yelling. um and so they played it off that like the nanny was scared and thought she was like crazy.
Yeah, but the nanny took the memory card. So
Exactly.
the nanny's in on it. And it's immediate right there. The nanny took the memory card. So it's some government cover up bullshit going on that at that point, I'm like, come on, guys.
You're completely wrong though.
Look, it's probably not government cover up bullshit, but some sort of, it's big pharma cover up bullshit because capitalism again.
No, you're
And
completely wrong.
it's a running theme.
You're in the complete wrong direction.
But it's still some sort of cover up bullshit, is what I'm saying.
No, there's no cover up. The nanny was so spoilers for Fool Me Once. I'm gonna just make a quick timestamp. The nanny was actually trying to like scam the woman and prove that she was the one that killed the husband. There was no. She hired her boyfriend, well, not hired, but she had her boyfriend sneak in, and then they fucking used like deep fake technology to put the husband's face on him because they were similar builds. That's why the person in the video doesn't turn all the way, just turns enough to get a profile so that it's easily like looks right, but like you can't scrutinize it. And then she steals the card so that the video can't actually be analyzed.
So bad people.
Yeah. But from there you find out that Maya did actually kill her husband. 8 episodes of her like trying to figure out how her husband died. Turns out that's not what she was trying to figure out at all. She was trying to figure out why her husband was killing people to begin with. Because her husband is the one that killed her sister.
Yeah, no. This sounds like a soap opera.
I mean, it definitely kind of was. So the way the whole thing played out was, while she was in the army, so like as a helicopter pilot in a war zone, a jeep full of soldiers hit like an IED, and people were like, some of them were already dead, and a bunch of people were injured, and they had a truck driving towards them that they could not identify as hostile or not. She was told to basically stand down to not take a shot or engage. And she turned off her radio and blew up the truck anyway. And it turned out it was a truck full of civilians. One of those like online journalists, like leaker people, got a hold of like government documents that proved that and leaked them to the press. And that got her discharged and disgraced and everything. Her sister, who was working at the company that both this woman's husband worked for, but also his family owned, went to that person and convinced, like the person that leaked the stuff, convinced them to not leak the actual audio recordings that like essentially made her out even worse. And in return, she would leak information about the pharmaceutical company to him. And the husband was essentially like low key the company's like hitman. Like anytime somebody was getting like too involved in things they shouldn't be, he just killed them. He killed at least 3 or 4 people like to protect like his company and family.
You're right. I would not like this. I would have been bored.
Yeah, like we had a great time watching it. Like it was stupid. Like a lot of the stuff, like you're watching it and you get to the end and you're like, no fucking way. Like this is really what happened. But like when you go back and like think about everything, it's like, oh no, like that all lines up. She was never really looking for the killer. She was more interested in finding out what her sister was involved in versus what her husband had done to get killed. She was just using the husband as an excuse for kind of like acting a little erratically.
This makes me think of Shenmue and being like, oh, I know who killed
all time.
Yeah, I know who killed my dad. I just need to find who killed my dad.
Yeah, exactly. But then on the side, you also had her teenage niece and nephew. Like I said, finding out that the mom, when they were like early 20s, basically, maybe even late teens, had spent a summer in Paris, and she met a guy and got knocked up and had a baby that she put up for adoption. And they decided to try and like track the person down who would be like 20 by this point in the show. And it turns out this whole time that their mom's like first kid was their assistant soccer coach, which was, that was one of those ones. It's like, fucking really, That's the one you're gonna play with this one.
Yeah.
But then the piece that actually tied into everything surprisingly well was the detective that was sort of doing all the investigating. He, like I said, he kept having like seizures and blacking out, and at first he thought it was just he had recently like gotten sober, like stopped drinking and stuff. He thought like it was it had to do with that, like it was some sort of side effect of just having drunk too much for too long and his body not being able to cope without it. But at the end, you find out that he's been taking pills that were done by the pharmaceutical company that were causing all of the effects he was having that the pharmaceutical company was covering up.
Mhm.
So it was like hallucinations and blackouts and seizures and suicidal tendencies and all these other things that he legitimately thought he was dying. Like he went to like a doctor and had like scans and stuff done, and they're like, we don't know what's wrong with you. Like whatever it is, it's just getting worse though, and you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
And then it was just pills. He just had to stop taking these pills that they never even really tell you why he's taking them. But like he stops taking them and he ends up living for 20 more years.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, a fun show. Definitely worth watching if you like kind of those stupid like soap opera-y mysteries. Because that's really what it was. It was just a who done it with a little extra drama.
Yeah.
And I like whodunits. They're stupid, but enjoyable.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, you would hate it, and Drew wouldn't even pretend to watch it.
Nope.
You would just leave.
Yep.
Be like, I have better things to do. Goodbye.
This is true.
But yeah, that's all I've got. Either you guys got anything else?
Nope.
Yeah, no, not at the moment. Like I said, we'll talk about Lego City Undercover next week because there's no point in me bringing it up and talking about it this week and then talking about beating it next week. I'll just do it on it.
Or, well, actually, real quick, I saw Prize Fighter Inferno.
What the fuck is that?
It's Coheed. It's Claudio from Coheed and Cambria, his side project with his wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were really good. It's their
Nice.
first ever tour. And Claudio was saying he never really imagined touring this music and was super happy. Like all these shows are selling out.
Oh, Inferno, because that's the only living character from the end of the Amory Wars and keeping secret Second Stage Turbine Blade.
Well, there you go. There's the connection.
That's it. I mean, the only living character, no, Claudio is also the other living character. But Claudio and Inferno are the two main living characters left.
But yeah, it's more electronic than Coheed because it's electronic stuff plus acoustic guitar. So I'm pretty sure their Instagram they use folktronic as like their genre.
Okay. Good time though.
Yeah,
Nice. Where did they play at?
they played the TLA. It was
Okay.
a quick show. It was over by 10 o'clock.
Hey man, those are the best kind.
Yeah, there was one opener, Carabay. She was also really good. Also like acoustic with a little bit of like electronic drums. But yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of music, did you know they redid like the inside of the Foundry?
No.
Yeah, they got rid of the bar in the middle.
Oh well, that's good.
Yeah, so I was there on Friday for Holding Absence,
Okay.
and like the 90% of that fucking place was this giant bar in the fucking dead center of the room.
Right.
So now you know how like the back wall had those like weird raised sofas on it?
Uh-huh.
That's where the bar is now.
Okay, so where are they setting up merch tables then?
So the merch tables were like right along like the right hand wall when you walk in.
Okay.
So like out of the way enough that like you can still get into the show and all, but like you pass them essentially on your way out, which is also nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then they still have that area that would have been next to the bar, like on the far wall from the door, that had like the two couches in
Right.
it. And they still have like the little like metal barricade up around that. I'm assuming for people that like don't want to be in the crowd.
Okay.
Because at first I thought it might be one of those, if you get a drink, you have to stay back there. But I saw a bunch of people in the crowd with drinks, so that was not the case. But yeah, I was very surprised when I walked in there and it was just like, oh, look, there's floor to stand on now. It's not just a big bar with 10 feet of room for you to stand to watch the band.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. That, and I saw the dude in a wheelchair in a pit. So that was
Nice.
fun. Yeah. During a hardcore band, too. Like, the guy was not fucking around.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Like, and like, everyone was super cool about it. Like, it was like a motor wheelchair. So when it was a circle pit, he was just going in a circle with everybody. But then, when like everyone like started like actually like moshing, like he just kind of like parked in the middle and people just kind of like moved around him, high-fived him, like had a good time around him.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, there was only one fight. There's always got to be one.
Yeah.
It's funny though. I'm 90% sure the guy I saw fight I've seen at other shows, and he's always a douchebag.
Well,
Like he looks like a douchebag, and he's got that stance where he's standing, like unintentionally standing right next to where the pit opened up, but then like just stands there facing with his back to the pit, with his arms crossed, just like staring at the stage. I'm like, you can't get mad if people bump into you. Like,
right.
You have every opportunity to either fucking move or turn around and keep an eye out for when people are going to bump into you.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, no, he just stands there with his back to it. And when people bump into him, he then turns around and shoves them as hard as he possibly can, regardless of what direction it is. Like, no, dude, you are the problem here.
Yep.
And it's not like it was.
No, he's not the problem. He's fine.
And it, I could get it if he was like super close to the stage, and he's like, I got here early to get close to the stage. Like, no, it was the Franklin Music Hall. We were like barely in the center. We were actually like off to the left center, and he was acting like that. I'm like, you're just a piece of shit. Like, go sit up in the balcony if you don't want to be touched.
Right.
I hate people. People are just the worst.
Yep.
Rich.
Yeah.
I forget. I was actually going to ask you something. I forget what it is now.
I can't tell you.
Neither can I. Oh well. I guess we'll just wrap up then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All of it helps. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. And then, Rich, what does your streaming look like?
Twitch.tv/B_1. That's where we're video game streaming Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Next week, there's going to be a bonus stream probably on Friday and or Saturday where I play Final Fantasy VII. However...
Wait, is that really that soon?
Yeah, it's next week.
Holy shit. God, the next week is the end of the month. God damn.
Yep.
Yeah, it comes out, Thursday, I believe? 29th or the 1st?
The 29th.
Like yeah. So for Thursday, Sea of Thieves, of course. Sunday, and probably Monday, we're probably going to be playing some Lego City Undercover, maybe even on Tuesday, but we're going to have it beat by Sunday. And then I don't really know what we're going to play between then, so I might just keep doing Lego City Undercover to do all of the extra stuff because it's a Lego game and there's a lot of extra stuff. Or we might jump into playing other random games that I just want to play. Come check us out, but we will have bonus streams next week. So just twitch.tv/B_1.
Nice. And in 2 weeks, like we said a little while ago, we'll be watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer for our next book club. And you can
better have a kick-ass theme song.
Actually, I don't think it did.
It's not my Buffy.
You know what though? It did have a cool like prom, like everything goes to hell and a bunch of teenagers get turned into vampires bit. So, and Pee Wee Herman in a leather jacket.
All right, sounds like my Buffy.
Yeah, it's got like early 90s like hard rock Pee Wee Herman.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See
Bye.
you.